after acre in California.
Never seen anything like it. The amount of resources we put into it, the amount of damage we've seen.
Most of the fires scorching forests and consuming homes were ignited Sunday, driven by dry conditions and strong winds.
Personally, I think it'll be one of the worst disasters in California history.
Thousands were forced from their homes with little more than the clothes on their backs.
They just left their house while it was burning down. They were just in their bathrobes. They just grabbed their car keys, left everything behind, got in their car, and just drove out.
Some have been able to return and begin picking up the pieces.
It looks like a moonscape. The drought hit it really hard originally, and now this.
It's completely unrecognizable. It's like Mars.
But in some areas, wildfires are still pushing people from their homes. California will be receiving federal assistance. President Trump has signed a major disaster declaration, and fire management assistance grants. Welcome news for those affected in the area.
We're just trying to keep people alive. Number one priority is life.
California has declared a state of emergency. One of the fires in Napa has already destroyed nearly 16 wineries. No word yet on the cause of the fires.
What a night for the Vegas Golden Knights. The Knights laced up and hit the ice last night for their first home opener at T-Mobile Arena. They first honored those who lost their lives in the once October tragedy.
These individuals will never be forgotten. May their light long shine.
More than 18,000 people stood in silence for 58 seconds to honor the 58 victims. The team then hit the ice, scoring 5 goals in the first 3 periods. They beat the 5 Coyotes 5-2. Their next game is this Friday against the Detroit Red Wings at the T-Mobile Arena.
It was a devastating night for the soccer world. The United States will not be going to the World Cup in Russia. The team competed against Trinidad and Tobago. They lost 2-1. Panama and Honduras both won their matches, knocking the United States out of 4th place. This is the first time they have not advanced to the World Cup since 1986. It's that time of year again to get your flu shot to avoid getting sick this fall. Joaquin Lomali has more information on how you can protect yourself.
With fall officially starting and cooler temperatures starting to kick in, viruses are beginning to form, which often creates many illnesses such as the flu. So if you haven't gotten your flu shots yet, now is the time to do it.
From sneezing to spreading the virus, it's flu season, and these are some ways that helps to catch the flu. I went to the UNLV Wellness Center and talked to Dr. Salvatore Biazzo, where he says if a person who has the flu does not frequently washes or uses sanitizer on their hands, then they put everyone at high risk around them to catch the flu. But also,
if you're in close contact with somebody who has the flu, that's another way. Respiratory droplets stay suspended in the air for a little bit, so somebody coughs or sneezes and you enter right in their space where they just did that. There's a good potential for you to get that.
a way for you to avoid getting that is by getting the flu shot ahead of time. Influenza is a virus that causes the flu between October to May, but it takes 2 weeks for the antibodies to form that go against the flu virus in hopes of preventing you from getting sick. But can you get sick from getting the flu shot?
Sometimes when you do get the flu vaccination, there are some people that do get fever from that and a little bit of joint pain. And so, but remember, they don't actually have the flu. They're getting some mild side effects from the vaccination itself.
And if that's a good enough reason for you not to get the flu shot, think again.
And even a healthy individual could end up with pneumonia, bronchitis, even death if they don't take care of themselves properly.
The flu virus spreads fast, and Dr. Biazzo says that getting the vaccine is a must.
Just one person having the flu and going to work that day could spread it to hundreds, if not thousands, of other people over the course of time. So it's really important that people in situations such as healthcare or working with the public should get a flu vaccination, if not to protect themselves and protect other people around them.
To get your flu shots, visit your nearest CVS, Walgreens, or any medical center. If you're a UNLV student, you can go to the Student Health Center Monday through Friday from 9 to 4, and they offer free flu shots there for all students. For Studio G, I'm Joaquin Lomeli.
The flu shot is not recommended for those extremely allergic to eggs, infants under 6 months, and people with GB syndrome, as research shows that it may cause a bad reaction. Coming up, new allegations against a Hollywood star who is making new claims against a famous movie producer.
Plus, chilly mornings followed by a slight increase in temperatures. Brianna Haney takes a look at your forecast coming up in a few minutes. We'll be right back.
As far as Studio G, at first it looks overwhelming, and at first it looks like it's a lot of work, but I'll tell you what, it's the most beneficial class I've had at UNLV to date, without a doubt. You get to not only develop stories and work on your interviewing skills, your editing skills, and your shooting skills from a camera perspective, you get to work on all the equipment that's in the studio. So you're working on audio, you're working on directing, tech directing, you get to produce your own show. You can take a 30-minute newscast and make it your own. And that's really cool about Studio G. Like I said, a lot of it seems overwhelming at first, but it is by far the best class I've taken at UNLV since I've been here.
Metropolis is a 30-minute show that airs every Tuesday evening at 91.5. You're going to hear Dr. Gary Larson along with our regular contributors talking about what matters to our community. And not only what matters, but why does it matter? We look at our community as a whole, but we also pay special attention to what's happening here at UNLV because that's our home as well. So looking at our Metropolis through the lens of a radio show really gives us the unique perspective to tell a story through words and through people, and I think it makes for a great program.
This is your Rebel and Revolt show. Pretty good show about, just someone who will actually talk about UNLV the way an outsider might feel. We talk about current events, we talk about politics, try to take an offensive swing with it. Sometimes it's hit or miss, but and we talk about, the little things in life that everybody laughs about. And we are the Rebels and we are revolting. My name is Jameson Wilk and I run the Rebel and Revolt show, and you can tune in at therebelhd2.com.
Welcome back to Studio G.
Let's take a look at this week's headlines. Today is National Coming Out Day. Students organizing diversity activities, or SOTA, are holding an event tonight at 6 to celebrate. Since the early 1990s, the nation has dedicated days and months for specific and underrepresented communities who face much discrimination in the country. UNLV is aiming to nurture equality and diversity by holding this event. The event will be held at the Student Union in room 208. Get your lightsabers out because Star Wars: The Last Jedi finally released its first trailer. It features 2 new characters, but also some familiar faces like Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia. The film is set to hit theaters on December 15th, but you can already buy tickets on Fandango. It's meant to pick up where The Force Awakens left off.
You may want to put the jackets away this afternoon because it's starting to get a little warmer outside.
Brianna Haney has a look at your school week forecast. Brianna?
Good afternoon, Rebels. I'm Brianna Haney, and I have your Wednesday weather forecast. Yesterday, we saw lower than average temperatures, but today you can expect to see those numbers rise a little bit. We have an expected daytime high of 85 degrees and an overnight low of 58, and the current temperature in Las Vegas is 63 degrees. Now let's take a look at temperatures across the valley. Right now, it looks like temperatures are in the 60s across the board. We have our high in Centennial at 68 and our lows in Las Vegas and Nellis at 63 degrees. Now turning to our national forecast, it looks like mostly sunny conditions across the center portion of the country. We have rain on the East Coast and thunderstorms in the Pacific Northwest. And in California, it looks like partly cloudy conditions. Which brings me to the picture of the day. This comes to us from the Los Angeles Times. It's of the Santa Rosa fire that affected Northern California. At least 17 people are dead and 3,000 structures destroyed in the area, but winds are expected to pick up tonight through tomorrow. Winds are going to be about 30 miles per hour with gusts up to 45. So we hope for the best for them out there. Now let's turn to your 5-day forecast. As I mentioned before, Wednesday today, it's going to be about 85 degrees. We're going to stay in the 80s for the rest of the school week. So 82 on Thursday and 80 on Friday. But by the time we get to the weekend, we're going to get down a little bit to the upper 70s. It's going to be 78 on Saturday and Sunday. And your overnight temperatures are all going to be in the 50s. Now here at the UNLV campus, current conditions are 66 degrees with visibility of 10 miles. That's great. Winds are calm and humidity is at 18%. Now, if you're going to stay here late tonight, the overnight temperature on campus is going to be 59 degrees with calm winds and mostly clear skies. It's definitely going to be a little bit chilly for us here in Las Vegas, so bring out those sweaters. And that's all the weather I have for you right now. Back to you.
Thanks, Brianna. Vice President Mike Pence was in Sacramento this week. It's a part of his 3-day trip to California to discuss tax reform. They have been meeting with local businesses, community leaders, and families in order to push his tax reform. This plan would change the tax bracket from 7 to 3. Democrats argue it will make the country deficit grow and put programs such as Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security at risk. More allegations are coming to surface against Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein. More than 24 women, including some actresses, have come forward saying Weinstein harassed them early in their careers. They are accusing him of rape. The company he co-founded fired him recently after the original allegations. Weinstein has not commented on the new details surrounding the claims.
When it's Sunday, it's football time. Studio G reporter Giselle De Los Reyes had the chance to check out downtown to see where locals watch the game.
It's football season and the Downtown Watch Zone is here hosting their free football viewing parties. Fellow football fans get together every Sunday at the Downtown Las Vegas Event Center, where there is food, drinks, and most importantly, the game. The Downtown Watch Zone opened early in September, just in time for the new football season, and local Kevin Brown is checking it out for the first time.
The whole vibe is cool. It's football, and I can see, like, later on in the season when the games get more important, I can see this place packed out and rocking and, you know, a lot of drunk Raiders fans, you know what I'm saying? This is the first time I've seen this. It's cool.
With all of the recent protests happening within the NFL, Brown expresses his opinion about the actions of President Donald Trump and Vice President Mike Pence regarding the protests.
The president and the vice president have way more important issues in the world to be worrying about than if somebody's protesting at a football game. You know, I understand why they're protesting, and the people that are against them protesting are they're trying to avoid what they're protesting and say that they're disrespecting the servicemen, but they're not. But I just try to leave it alone. I don't even like mixing my sports and politics together because I want to enjoy the game. But what's going on in our country, our president and vice president have a lot more to worry about than who's kneeling or standing at a football at a sporting event.
The Downtown Las Vegas Event Center hosts these parties every single Sunday, and admission is free. For Studio G, I'm Giselle De Los Reyes.
For more information about the Downtown Watch Zone, visit their website at dlvec.com. Both the United States and Turkey have suspended all non-immigrant visa services for travel between the two countries. This after last week's arrest of an employee at the U.S. Embassy in Istanbul.
The embassy here in Turkey issued a statement on Monday saying that they will be suspending non-immigrant visa services in the country for an indefinite period of time. The Turkish embassy in Washington, D.C. issued a similar statement just 3 hours later saying that they, too, will be stopping non-immigrant visa applications from their embassy in D.C. This just goes to show you what kind of escalation is taking place between these two traditional allies who are both part of the NATO alliance. There are 9 scheduled flights that are due for Istanbul today. Those people, Americans who are on those flights, will not be impacted, but the suspension of visas will go into effect as of tonight.
The suspended services will affect visas for businessmen, tourists, medical patients, students, journalists, and treaty trader, as well as diplomatic and official visas.
Coming up next, we sit down with Frank Moeller from KUNV to discuss their upcoming fundraiser.
We'll be right back.
It's awesome. I didn't know what I was getting into. I thought it was just going to be fun, just me in a room playing music. And it's blossomed into something beyond what I imagined. Like, people just love it. There's like, a lot of people are eager and excited to be a part of UNLV radio. A lot of people didn't even know UNLV had a radio station, so I'm glad to be bringing that awareness to the Vegas community.
It feels great. You know, it's a great accomplishment because it starts as something that nobody knows about, and you get to build it from the ground up. So it builds your work ethic. It also gives you a sense of accomplishment when it's like, man, we made it. We did something. We made something that nobody else has made. So
it's great to be part of the student community and having to bring something to the student body with music, which is one of my passions.
I feel like it's giving me a voice, and not just for me, but for people who has had something they are passionate about. And I just want to, keep that conversation going and let other people see what we're talking about here.
It's amazing to have an opportunity to play whatever it is that you want to play. It's also a great way to connect and meet with new artists, great people, just music lovers in general.
What's up, it's your girl Scribe Cash. This is
The Prince Madison, this is The Takeover.
Played by the Video Games Live Orchestra.
Yeah, on Twitter, at Miles Low Music and
or rock bands. I want them to get the appreciation of how much rock has changed over the years and how it's still really great. You can never kill rock. I mean, rock is like the way to be, the way to go. The name of my show is Rock Through the Decades, and I am Rockin' Gemini. You can listen to this on the Rebel HD2 network.
Welcome back, Rebels. Today I'm sitting down with Frank Mueller, the general manager of KUNV. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. So I understand that we're working on a fundraiser. Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Sure. So as a nonprofit public radio station, twice a year we go to our listeners and ask for their help and support during our pledge drives. It's usually about a 2-week event each spring and every fall. This year we were about a week into our event and the tragic shooting on the Las Vegas Strip happened, and so we kind of brought it to an abrupt halt at that point in time.
Mm-hmm. So talk to me about that. When the whole shooting happened, what kind of coverage did you do?
You know, we came in because, of course, that happened late Sunday night, and when it happened, we tried to update some of our social media. We didn't have any live people in the studio at that time. We were on automation, but we came in as soon as we got in the next morning. We already had students and actually worked with UNLV-TV to start gathering information. We were able to get, because of that, we were able to get interviews with people who had been at the scene. We immediately started looking at how do we help our community. We wanted to think about both what information people needed. So we wanted to get out information about how people could get help, also how people could provide help. There were many people who wanted to know what they could do, you know, whether it was donate blood or donate food or water or what, you know, how they could help. So we tried to get that out. We also wanted to get out information about services that were being offered, like free counseling services. So we interviewed several people from UNLV. We wanted to give people information about what this means, what it could mean going forward. And so I canceled my normal class that I teach during that day and invited my students to come and help participate in gathering the news. We had some students come in for that. We pulled on some of our students at the station who normally have other responsibilities and brought them into the news gathering portion of it as well. And so as a result, we were able to get a lot of information, get it out there quickly, and continue to distribute information. And then, you know, the other thing that we really felt like we needed to do was do whatever part we could to help add to the healing process, which meant that our hosts were very engaged in kind of sharing their own feelings and sharing others' feelings as well, and having a conversation back and forth with people saying, look, we're going through this together, and together we'll get through it.
Right. And how did everyone feel as far as postponing the fundraiser?
Oh, everybody felt like it was the right thing to do. You know, there are things bigger than us, and this was certainly something a lot bigger than us. So we had a very successful first half to our fundraiser. When we resume it later on, we're confident that we'll be able to raise the funds that we need to continue to operate. But as a nonprofit public radio station, our first kind of responsibility and obligation is to the public.
Mm-hmm. And moving on, what is your goal with the fundraiser?
So our fiscal goal, our financial goal is $75,000 that we have to raise. As I mentioned, we were about halfway through the pledge drive. We had already raised about half of that, and so we were on track. I feel like when we resume, we'll be able to raise what we need to.
Awesome. And for our viewers who are interested in getting more information on this, where can they go?
The best place is our website, which is KUNV.org. There at our website, we have details. We also have where people can donate. We've had some people who have appreciated kind of the coverage that we've been providing and what we've been able to do. And so as a result, they've just chosen to donate on their own and said, we appreciate what you guys are bringing us. And so we want to make sure that we can continue to support that. It's been a good thing for students to be involved as well, and I think our community really appreciates that students have been involved in helping cover that.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate you coming here to the show and talking to us about it. But that's all the time that we have for today. I would like to thank Frank Mueller for joining us today, and we'll be right back.
Your community's farmers market. Welcoming, lively, friendly. A place where neighbors and friends come together to celebrate their community. With over 50 vendors, organic, sustainable, fresh produce are available just for you. Support and buy local at Fresh 52.
Show's name is the Rebel and Revolt Show. Pretty good show about, just someone who will actually talk about UNLV the way an outsider might feel. We talk about current events, we talk about politics, try to take an offensive swing with it. Sometimes it's hit or miss, and then we talk about, the little things in life that everybody laughs about. And we are the Rebels and we are revolting. My name is Jameson Wilk and I run the Rebel and Revolt Show, and you can tune in at therebelhd2.com.
A music legend is remembered. A movie sequel gets a familiar director and paying tribute to true heroes. David Daniel has the entertainment roundup in Hollywood Minute.
There's nothing on there. Think you got a lot of followers on Twitter? Well, check this out. The Pope has officially reached the 40 million Twitter follower mark. He joined the Twitter world nearly 5 years ago. His Twitter handle @PonyFex can be accessed in 9 languages. According to a press release from the Vatican, Pope Francis uses his daily tweets to offer spiritual thoughts throughout the world.
Hate it when you order pizza? It comes to your door and it's stone cold.
Well, one company is solving this first world problem. Pizza Hut is now making sure your pizza is 15 degrees hotter when it gets to your door. That's a promise the company recently announced. The pie will be held in a high-tech insulation pouch and a re-energized pizza box. No word yet as to what locations will start the next delivery service. I love pizza.
Who doesn't?
Exactly.
But it's great that now we don't have to worry about that. We receive it, we're ready to go. We don't have to worry about, we have to reheat it now.
Put it in the microwave, or some people even put it on a stove to get it crunchy. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
But now you don't have to do that because it's going to be warm.
Yeah.
And cold pizza's not that bad, but
it's better when it's hot.
better when it's hot and the cheese is melted and everything.
Yes,
I'm excited. I wonder how they even thought about it, how it even
I'm
came to
guessing
mind.
maybe they've had a lot of
maybe complaints and stuff.
About how their pizza's cold depending on where the location is, because sometimes it takes time for them to receive their pizza. So
probably.
That's all the time we have for today's Rebels.
We'll see you tomorrow for another edition of Studio G.
So good job, Kimmy.
Yeah.
Okay, we've answered pretty well.
We answered pretty well. I liked it. It was good.